He has built a 60-plus partner network. Currently, Principal Director, Global Alliance at LTIMindtree, Mr. D R Mahesh.
The toughest call came in the first 90 days, sometimes very unpopular decisions, right? The ones that consume real political capital.
Mr. Mahesh, that's the kind of behind-the-scenes leadership story we rarely get to hear.
So we set up joint scorecards, clear attributions, right? The rules, and a single source of truth in CRM.
The way you tied commercial models directly to revenue and cost made this sound like a financial conversation, but human. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Sunny Pancholi, and today we are diving into the engine room of growth, where alliances aren't just logos on a slide, they are revenue machines, where GTM is science, not superstition, and where scale is engineered partner by partner, market by market. Our guest today has spent over 2 decades building and weaponizing partner ecosystems across cloud, infra, security, data, automation, and touching enterprise, public sector, and telecom, BFSI, retail, manufacturing, healthcare, energy and utilities, travel and hospitality, and many more. He has built a 60-plus partner network from Dell, Hitachi, HPE, Cisco, ServiceNow to AWS, Azure, GCP, IBM, VMware, and even nimble disruptors like Zoho, Cohesity, and Rubrik. He has scaled alliance-led deals share from 5% to 40%, tracking to 60%, influenced $250 million plus TCV yearly, grew a Cisco alliance from $30 million to $100 million in 3 years, and took a homegrown platform from startup to 100% YOY growth for 5 straight years. Currently, Principal Director, Global Alliance at LTIMindtree. Please welcome the partnership whisperer himself, Mr. D R Mahesh. Sir, how are you doing today?
Thank you, Sunny. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Great, sir. Thank you for asking.
Great.
All right. So looking forward to a great conversation ahead.
Absolutely. Look forward.
So, Mr. Mahesh, every resume lists achievements, every career carries turning points. May I invite you to take us back to the beginning? 1 or 2 moments that changed your arc, a challenge that humbled you, and one decision you would probably make again.
Good. Let me start with my journey. I began my journey in Bangalore like a young engineer with loads of curiosity, right? Early in my career, I was fortunate enough to start my career as soon as I finished my engineering with a big group called Chowgulis. That's where I had most of my learnings, right? To tell you the story, very precise this thing, my stints at Chowgule Group gave me a lot of learnings, but at Alentas is where I learned the tricks of the trade. I was recognized for selling over $100 million, but what mattered was learning how to earn trust, build teams and ecosystems, and to create value together. So I took these lessons into entrepreneurship at AppPoint Software Solutions. We built this company together with a few of my friends, where we came out with a platform called App Studio, which is a business process automation platform. Right? So we grew year on year, like you mentioned, 100% growth year on year. And we were also recognized in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant as leaders for BPM. This is where I think my true entrepreneurship came into picture. I really loved it. To support my team and to dream together to grow this company to a large company, it was really an achieving stint over there. The best ideas come. I moved on from AppPoint Software Solutions and joined LTIMindtree. Today it's LTIMindtree. I joined Mindtree. And before that, I was with Tech Mahindra. That's where I built a alliance function right from the scratch. And that's where I think we learned a lot in terms of alliances. Alliances was never a mainstream growth function, right? It was always a support function. That's how people looked into it. That's where I made a stint there to position alliances as a main frame, as a main function, right, rather than a support function. And we built a team which made a difference in terms of reaching the goals what we had set for. The true calling came in at LTIMindtree. We had to again build a partner team, right? And I today manage close to about 40 to 50 partners across multiple functionaries, like it could be infrastructure, it could be multiple areas, right? I think we have multiple partners across the distance. The best ideas come when you bring people together who see the world differently. That's what I learned. But to your question, like the challenge, the message or the challenge, what humbled me was, of course, my journey, which has both valleys as also triumphs, right? When we were at a point, right, I think we were at the triumph, growing year on year, 100%. That's when we lost one of our major customer, who was the main footprint for our next growth, right? Things started falling. I mean, we felt invincible. I think revenue projections started tumbling, right? I remember waking up at night, questioning every decision, feeling the weight of responsibility for my team and their families. This was really an humbling experience, right? So I learned, as Simon Sinek often says, that leadership isn't about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. Right? I reached out to my mentors, listened to deeply into my team, and together we were able to pivot, diversified, unit together again. That failure was really painful, but it was a real learning for me during my career.
It's a powerful reflection, Mr. Mahesh, and I really like how you shared the setback as openly as success. It makes the journey so much more relatable.
Absolutely. Right. I mean, the decision I would really like to make again and again is positioning alliances as a main function rather than a support function. Right. This is what I like to do again and again. Sometimes I had to spend my political capital, which I felt I didn't know at that point of time, but I did, right? But by aligning sales, delivery, partnerships, right, together into one rhythm, we transformed the business. Partner influenced deals started soaring from 5% to 40%, like you mentioned. Like if I have to draw a parallel, Satya Nadella's transformation at Microsoft, I remember, right, how he broke down the silos and made growth mindset across the organization as a slogan, right? That's what I tried to do, create a culture where collaboration wasn't just encouraged, but it was expected.
Absolutely, Mr. Mahesh. So continuing our conversation, you helped reposition alliances from a support function to a growth engine, 40% plus partner influence deals, aiming for 60%. In your first 90 days building a modern alliance engine, what were the toughest calls? The ones that consumed political capital? And how did you align sales, delivery, and partners into one motion without chaos?
Yes, when I stepped into the role of building a modern alliance engine, right, the landscape was anything but smooth, right? Alliances was seen as a support function, like I mentioned. Delivery saw us as outsiders, partners were confused, sales teams saw us as a back office team members, right? I mean, it was chaos all along, right? One day I realized we had less a partner ecosystem and more a patchwork of relationships across. See, some strong, more transactional, and all disconnected from the core values of the business, what we were trying to do, right? The toughest call came in the first 90 days, sometimes very unpopular decisions, right? The ones that consume real political capital, right? I had to bench multiple relationships or partnerships just because they really didn't align to our business policy or our business growth trajectory, right? These partnerships were built over the years for a long time, and it was a tough call to take, and multiple eyebrows raised in the company when this was done, right? So few of the toughest calls, I would say, which we took, right, was redefining ownership, right? Earlier, the ownership of sales was only with the sales, right? I insisted that alliances would no longer be a support function, and we would own revenue targets along with the sales, right? Second thing was saying no to legacy of partners. Like I mentioned, this was painful. Some of the relationships were built over the years, but I had to let it go and start the business anew with partners which make difference to my business, right? And forcing transparency. Basically, when there is a relationship between the partners and the company, the transparency plays a very vital role, right? I mandated that joint pipelines should be done along with the partner, with our sales team, delivery team, and also the alliances, right? So we started celebrating joint successes across along with the partners, right? We built joint account plans, right? Sales brought the customer intimacy, whereas delivery brought the execution, and alliances brought the partner value. This is what we combined together to one rhythm, right? We synchronized all our cadences, weekly pipelines, quarterly reviews, everything into a single dashboard, which was transparently shared across the partners. So I often drew inspiration from the world of music, right? Specifically the orchestra. In orchestra, you have virtuos in every section, right? But without a conductor, an orchestra would just be a noise, right? I played the role of a conductor to create a single heartbeat across the organization. So the results spoke for themselves. In 2 years, partner influence deals jumped from 5% to 40%, right? A clear path towards moving to 50%. Importantly, alliances became a growth engine. That's what we had aimed for. And no more it was a support function. We weren't just closing deals, but we were closing strategic, large deals, right? Transformational deals, right? And with higher win rates along with these partnerships. So this made us scale. This strategy worked for us, and that's how we were able to scale the partner influence revenue from 5% to 40% and still growing.
Mr. Mahesh, that's the kind of behind the scenes leadership story we rarely get to hear. It's fascinating how you described the friction and then turned it into alignment. That's not at all easy.
That's right, Sunny. I mean, we have spent multiple nights together. I mean, working out partnerships, defining the relationship, keeping it more transparent, building that what you call joint trajectory along with the partners for growth. It's all happened as a teamwork, right? And we just believed in it, that partnerships or the alliances is no more a support function, and it can be a growth function, and we proved it.
Rightly said, Mr. Mahesh. And you often state that alliances must create value inside the P&L, not just in press releases. So let me ask you, how do you design partner models where impact is measurable in revenue, cost, or risk?
See, basically, we looked at every play, right? The referral sales, co-sell, managed services, various, right? It was a tough call, to adopt to one single play, right? In sports, you can't win games without with players who have never touched a ball, right? You need every team member to perform or be at the scoring scoring goals, right? That's what we made, that every person would be measurable, right? His, efforts would be measurable. We built a tracking system like advanced sports analytics, right? Moneyball for partnerships. I would like to take an example of Moneyball. I would say that it was Moneyball for partnerships. Every deal was tagged in CRM as an influenced or a sourced, with joint scorecards for sales, delivery, and alliances. I remember one deal, the partner made the first move, right? Our sales team closed it, right? And our delivery team delivered it successfully. So we all, split the revenue as it was planned earlier, as it was discussed earlier, and it was a great win, right? So we ran onboarding sprints, joint workshops, templated commercial terms, but every play worked, whatever we picked up. We once tried to onboard a star partner with a 6-month enablement plan. It dragged on, and it exhausted our delivery team and delivered nothing. That was our self-goal, I would say. Keep onboarding lean, focus on quick deals, quick wins, and never let the process slow down. So we set a new rule that no vanity or press releases without a measurable pilot would be released in the press, right? Every partnership had a P&L, accountability. Our CFO reviewed forecasts and clear exit criteria, right? The result, partner influence deals jumped from 5% to 40%. So the takeaway is that don't treat alliances as a support function. Treat them as a championship team, and make sure every player has his own stats. So that's what brought us whatever we achieved. Sunny, believe me, it was really not an easy task to turn around the old mindsets that alliances just do the relationship building, to become a growth function along with the sales team, to stand up and say that we own the sales targets along with the sales team, really needs a lot of efforts, team efforts to do that.
Absolutely. And that's very concrete, Mr. Mahesh. You have made the P&L feel like the hero of the story, and the way you tied commercial models directly to revenue and cost made this sound like a financial conversation, but human.
Thank you, Sunny.
Great. Talking about technology, Mr. Mahesh, technology can scale excellence or scale disorder. Right. When alliance-heavy selling, where do leaders go wrong with platforms and tooling? And how do you ensure technology reinforces governance rather than automating weak processes?
That's right. See, I'll tell you, let me be very blunt. Technology in alliances is a double-edged sword, right? It can scale excellence, or if you are not very careful, it can scale chaos at the speed of the light, right? So when I first took over our alliances, it was like giving a phone, megaphone to every player without a storyboard, right? It was like that. We had platforms for everything: CRMs, PRMs, deal registration platform, everything, but we lacked governance. The result: more dashboards, more confusion, lot of automated reports, which nobody trusted. Our cost to serve our customers went up rather than going down, right? So the classic mistake every leader tends to do is buying platforms, a shiny platform, to fix a broken process, right? It's like putting a turbocharger to your car which doesn't have brakes. You will just get to the crash faster, right? I've seen leaders automate siloed processes thinking they are scaling best practices. In reality, they are scaling disorders, right? What we did before rolling out any new tool was that we mapped the core governance, right? Who owns the deal? How is the partner influence deal tracked, right? What's the escalation path for disputes between the partner and us, right? We built the process first and then layered technology on top of it, rather than doing the other way around. Right? So we set up joint scorecards, clear attributions, right? The rules and a single source of truth in CRM, right? So even the CEO of the company started believing the CRM, which we were running at that point of time, right? So I think I would give you an example of what you call Formula One pit crew, right? The technology is world class, but if the choreography is not right, the whole thing, you might do everything right at a faster pace, but you may not win the race, right? So the choreography was more important at this point of time in terms of solving this technology and the governance problem, right? Now every platform investment is tied to a business outcome: faster time to market, lower cost to serve, higher partner influence revenue. This we started tracking, right? It was not tracked not only by our IT team, but also by the CFO, right? So technology should be the amplifier and not the architect itself, right? So get the governance right, then the tools would come in. That could be your best moves, right? So technology being an amplifier and not an architect was the learning what we had at this point.
Absolutely, Mr. Mahesh. That's such a relatable observation. Tech really does expose whether governance exists or not. And I like how you framed it. Tools are amplifiers, not magic wands.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, the governance has to be embedded in the whole process, right? I mean, make it a everyday affair rather than keeping it as an audit functional.
Absolutely, Mr. Mahesh. And what stands out is how you connect capital, community, and code to create predictable growth.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Sunny.
So, welcome to our rapid fire round. Quick questions and first instinctive answers. So, are you up for it?
Yes.
All right.
I like it.
Coffee.
Coffee. Coffee without sugar. It's my morning ritual.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird, of course, right? I believe the best ideas come before the world wakes up.
Absolutely. One buzzword you would ban forever?
Synergy.
Okay.
I have to say it, but we probably don't have it at all.
All right. The next question. Comfort food after a long day?
Masala dosa, a crispy, spicy masala dosa. I would settle for it anytime.
Classic and healthy. Alternate career you might have chosen?
Pilot. I'm always fascinated by this flight, right? I was a NCC Air Wing cadet, so that might have influenced my decision.
Right. That's great. That's great. Okay, next question. A movie or show you never tire of?
Moneyball. I was talking about Moneyball. It's all about finding value where others don't look at.
Absolutely. A light-hearted habit your team teases you about?
I would say my obsession to whiteboarding, right? I would just, sketch out anything everywhere. Just pull a napkin or a sheet of paper, or even on the, whatever is lying over there. Sometimes I have even scribbled on my desks, right? That's my passion.
Okay, good to know that. Past or future, where would you time travel?
Of course, future. I always look forward to see next.
Exactly. Great. Last question of the rapid fire round. 3 words that describe you.
Curious, resilient,
okay,
and I come from alliances. I'm a connector.
Oh, great. So I loved all the answers of yours, Mr. Mahesh. And let me tell you, it's always great to know the personal side behind the professional.
Thank you, Sunny. I think the questions invoked my travel, the journey in my lifespan or my career span.
Mr. Mahesh, multi-party deals across regions multiply risk, channel conflict, MDF misuse, compliance lapses, data leakage, and so much more. So what I would like to ask you and know is, what are your non-negotiables so that governance is lived daily, not laminated in manuals?
Correct. See, basically, governance is a daily discipline, especially in alliance, right? Heavy environment. right? Where you have multiple partners, multiple team members, and things like that. The risks multiply faster here, right? So my non-negotiables here would be clear accountability, no gray zones, right? There should be a single owner for the deal or for the opportunity, no matter how many partners, how many teams, how many people are involved in that, right? And there should be a transparency in terms of leveraging the MDF, right? A total transparency in terms of utilizing the MDF for the purpose and for the closing the opportunity, which makes the partner also much more comfortable, right? And the third thing would be compliance by design itself, right? Basically, it's not an auditable function. Basically, we started embedding checks, compliance and checks into our workflows itself, right? So compliance by design would be my third pick, right? Next would be real-time monitoring, right? Dashboards to flag off anomalies. Like there could be a sudden spike in usage of MDF, or there could be a routing of a deal, right? Whatever it is. Making real-time monitoring it would be my fourth pick. Zero tolerance for data leakage, right? Access to sensitive data is always need to know basis, right? We run regular cadence, red team drills to ensure that the tasks are reviewed, right? And if there is a breach, we act fast and transparently. So zero tolerance in terms of data leakage. The next would be the culture of speaking up, right? We would always encourage anybody to raise their hands and speak about whatever is happening around, so that we are aware, and we never penalized anybody for speaking, right? Think of in aviation field, think of a pilot, right, who just doesn't read the manual, right? He runs checklists before every flight, and anyone can call a go around, right? So that was an example we just took to ensure this. So the bottom line, in multi-party deals, the only way to scale trust is to make governance visible, right? Actionable and non-negotiable, and every single day it has to be a practice.
Absolutely, Mr. Mahesh, and that's such a refreshing take. Governance as lived habits, not laminated manuals.
That's right.
Great. So, Mr. Mahesh, that brings us to the last segment, last question of the podcast. And since you have engaged with leadership communities such as Directors Institute to strengthen boardroom excellence, what inspired you to join in the first place? And how has this experience shaped your view of modern governance?
Absolutely. Sunny, believe me, see, I think I have spent almost 30 plus years in my career, right? Come across loads of leaders and loads of their experiences. I have heard and gone through it and experienced it. I wanted to give back to the society, right? Whatever the experience, whatever I have learned from the greatest of the leaders across in the industry. And I felt Directors Institute was the right place. That's where I can be part of multiple companies, right? And share my thoughts and share my experiences to ensure that the company is successful. So this was my inspiration to be part of the Directors Institute. And I am really loving it.
Great to hear that, Mr. Mahesh. And let me thank you for an illuminating conversation. From building a 60-plus partner engine and scaling alliance-led revenue to encoding governance into technology and culture, you have shown how ecosystems become growth flywheels.
Thank you very much, Sunny, and it was great speaking to you, and your questions were really thought-provoking. And I really enjoyed answering those questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much once again, Mr. Mahesh. And to our listeners, keep the takeaways close. Clarity before velocity, partners as product lines, and technology as coded discipline. That's how logos turn into numbers.
Yes, I believe it.
So this has been FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. And I'm your host, Sunny Pancholi, signing off for now. Until next time, keep learning, keep advancing, and lead with purpose. Thank you so much.